And for the grand finale, we have a special pick that will now be the way we do things with our 5 picks, essentially. Since we are now the Fantastic Four of Swashbuckling Console War Regiment Musketeers, we, for our 5th pick each time, will be putting each of our own selections into a roulette of sorts and seeing which one gets the lucky pick, essentially. And for the first time we're ever doing this, it turns out Shiroi was the lucky winner. So, Shiroi, by all means, show the audience to the floor what it will be today's commentary for Halloween itself.
Yay! So I won, which means we're doing the Book of Life. Fun movie.
Anyway, this movie is one of the creations of the finely renowned Jorge R. Gutierrez. You may know him
Jorge R.
from some of
Gutierrez,
his...
Jova, but yes, the creator of El Tigre for Nickelodeon.
And also Maya and the Free more recently on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Despite being owned by different companies, he went on to record to say that those 3 properties do take place at different times in the same universe, just because they're so distant and because of copyright reason they cannot reference each other. But in terms of mythologies and everything, as far as he's concerned, they are connected. Also, we're noting this because it was all over the promotion material a la Nightmare Before Christmas. This was produced by Guillermo del Toro. To the point where, unfortunately, many people, similar to Nightmare Before Christmas with Tim Burton, thought that in this case he was mostly behind it when he was mostly just the one backing the project up.
And interestingly enough, the Mr. Gutierrez co-wrote the screenplay with one Doug Langdale, who previously did a load of TV shows. He created stuff like the Earthworm Jim TV show,
And Dave
The
the Barbarian.
The Weekenders, and Dave the Barbarian.
So expect the comedy to actually be pretty fun in this. So if you've never seen, the reason also why it's titled for Halloween is because the official festivity that it's celebrated in Central America, the Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, as it's called, is a bit complicated in under recent times. It has become a bit under scrutiny in a sense of a lot of, white people tending to, abuse the kind of imagery that the festivities has, while it still holds a particular significance to the inhabitants of Mexico. But for all intents and purposes, it's celebrated around the early of November 1 and 2, because of, imported Christian festivities that I do not, because Catholicism has something similar going on. So it kind of still fits for the whole All Saints Wake. So there is that. All right, Shiri, where should we start?
Which logo again? Right?
The 20th Century Fox
20th
logo.
Century Fox logo.
Which means, yes, this is yet another Disney production now.
3, 2, 1, click.
And yes, this would make a fantastic world for Kingdom Hearts. It has a very unique art style, as you'll come to see later. An interesting way, and look, Kingdom Hearts is no stranger to dealing with the afterlife on multiple occasions, essentially.
The art style that is used is mostly 3D outside of some specific 2D sequences for flashbacks in establishing shots, but it still resembles a bit what Gutierrez did for El Tigre. A very stylized, very, scrunched up for the sake of comedy.
Yeah, Real Effects Animation Studios. There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
I know that they did a lot of supporting work for other animated movies, but this is actually one of the few things that they did in their entirety.
Okay, is this soundtrack going to be public domain?
I will say, for as much as a shame as it was that Guillermo del Toro was mistaken as the creator of this, like with Nightmare Before Christmas, it did end up helping the film out a lot, actually. That said, in terms of, budget and box office, on a budget of $50 million, it grossed $100 million.
which was modest, but if I understand correctly, back then was fine, as a recouping.
Oh yeah.
Gutierrez
Hey,
said
what's
when
wrong with museums?
Gutierrez, remember, Dreams, kids these days don't care about museums. Gutierrez did mention for a while that he wanted to make a sequel out of this, but I think as far as like 2021 or a date similar to that, he basically came out and said that he had basically lost interest in doing it. We don't know if if the buyout of Fox from Disney is a part of that or not. It's only speculation.
I do hope we do get that sequel, since there's definitely a lot of potential for this story to have a sequel.
All
So hang
right.
on, wait a minute. For detention, you get to go to a museum.
Alright, the tour guide is voiced by Christina Applegate, which, if I recall correctly, we have... Yeah, she was a bit of a veteran for Fox because she did stuff like the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie or Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
So, oh yeah, apparently, according to at least according to TV tropes, us Brits didn't really take to this movie at the box office, unfortunately. It debuted, despite it being released at half-term break, which is typically the best time to release a film like this. It only debuted at number 4 at the box office when it came out. It was behind Fury, which was behind the 2014 Ninja Turtles movie, and that was behind Gone Girl.
Wow. So,
Okay. I might got that mixed up. So this was 4th, Gone Girl was 3rd, Turtles was 2nd, and Fury was 1st. So yeah, people would rather go see a David Ayer film starring Brad Pitt in War than watch this.
I don't pretend to know the mindset of the British all the time.
hey,
Honestly,
that's
it's
the
not
title of
worth
the
it.
movie! Like, I think this is more merits than Gonger to see at the very least. Mayo. Mayo, actually. It's a month. Oh, Jesus.
The goat sucker. You.
Yeah, it's a cryptid of the place. Of course it is.
What, you didn't know that? Of course it is.
I mean, even the Three Caballeros told me that, so I guess it has to be true. Ew.
Also, apparently, there was a bit of irony when it came to its broadcast on a UK channel. This was broadcast on Channel 4 on the same day a matador got gored to death by a bull.
Poor timing.
Wow.
Alright, let's check out the time film for this. This is a very oversimplified case. Oh,
I mean, the film's only 90 odd minutes.
she really
Okay,
is.
my headcanon is that she's simplifying some stuff for the children who look like they should be
Case
well
in
in
point, for those who don't know anything about Central American native mythology, Xibalba is basically the name of the underworld in Mayan folklore, basically, instead of actually being the name of a deity. I get the idea we took kind of the approach of, oh, the Greeks called Hades both the place and the deity, so let's do something similar to that.
You see,
Mind
around
you-
here, if we got sentenced to detention, we have to sit in a room and watch the other kids play outside.
From what I can gather, Gutierrez was in relatively complete control of the movie, so as far as I know, there's no cultural appropriation to be
There
found
are
in
a
regards to how
few-
things were done with this movie.
While most of the cast is actually voiced by, people of Mexican, Dominican, or Puerto Rican descent, there are just, other, voice actors or voice actors sprinkled throughout, but mostly because they're, part of people who work with Guillermo del Toro. Case in point, Xibalba is voiced by Ron Perlman.
who does it fantastically, as you'll come to see
Well, La
later.
Muerte is voiced instead by Kate del Castillo. And she's so pretty.
Oh yeah, no, like the art design is amazing for this movie. Can you imagine how much work went into animating every single candle on that hat?
Yeah.
She clearly has, the control in the relationship. But in general, I love these two. They keep bickering, but you can tell that they still love each other.
Also, his eyes are literal skulls. Another wager. Learn to quit while you're ahead.
See, that's the kind of problem. La Muerte's character fault is that she has a gambling problem.
Yep.
And
mean,
he's
she
more than
wins.
happy to encourage this problem.
The thing is, though, she tends to win a lot, which probably doesn't help that
Okay.
gambling habit.
Now, before I know that the temptation to compare these three to Sora, Riku, and Kairi is irresistible, but hear me out. If you really think about it, replaying recently the first Kingdom Hearts, showcased it a bit better. While there was clearly some level of rivalry between Sora and Riku for, being best friends and everything, Riku did not really showcase that much of being interested romantically in Kairi. If anything, it was kind of encouraging Sora most of the time.
Oh yeah, a lot of people
I can see that, yeah.
A lot of people have been recontextualizing that as Riku having more of a crush on Sora, go figure.
That being said, because these two deities love to bet on things, we're gonna try to choose each of them one of the boys and choose them as their champion.
So one thing you'll note is that people of the real world are, well, living puppets essentially, whereas the deities are, well, more structurally human.
Oh. So yeah, as also mentioned by the intro, the concept of the Day of the Dead is that, which was also talked about in Coco, that as long as the people who knew you will tend to remember you, you will actually still be having the time of your, well, undeath in the land of the dead. Which is basically a approximation of saying be a good person and you'll be rewarded in the afterlife and everything.
Plot twist, there was actually Torchwood behind the ghosts.
Why?
Because that's what they do. They bring up ghosts and then all of a sudden it turns out they're Cybermen.
The father is voiced by Hector Elizondo, which I think we have seen him somewhere else. Let me see. Oh god, no, I know that I've seen him. He was the wise neighborhood in music 2021. Ugh.
Also, slight foreshadowing of characters we'll meet later.
Yeah, the ancestors of Manolo. It's worth noting that when Langmuerte is using a disguise, she's changing her voice. In this case, is Tonita Castro for a couple of lines.
Which, of course, gave him a giant chip on his shoulder.
And yet, as you noticed, only his son was there to remember him.
Yeah, why do I get the feeling the twist is going to be that he actually died as like in a much more cowardly manner or something?
What, like Sir Dan Fortescue?
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, like it turned out. Oh no, he was actually running away from the creature like a bitch and got eaten.
Also, I don't know about you, but in some of these sequences, Ron Perlman starts to sound a bit like Tim Curry.
I get the feeling, Jababa, that this might be outside the rules of the game.
I mean, to be fair, it was not established, so fair's fair, I guess. And apparently it was Batman.
Wow, they're playing the long game, huh?
I mean, to be fair, they're deities, they can do that. And by the way, that basically means, it's a promise that they can now break. It's not like Zivalba can just finger cross behind his back.
Mhm.
Gee, it's almost, when you think about it, it's almost, very oddly specific.
Gods are dicks, huh?
Also, one little detail I do like is that if you notice certain shots of the movie, they sort of curve in and outside like the setting is, well, a book.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that effect that Balan Wonderworld was going for in some of its levels. Oh, yes. But you're robbing people of such glorious ribs from the grill.
If there's something that can potentially be said towards the movies, but the character of Maria clearly is trying to go somewhere, and it would be a constant throughout the movie, but because of events that happen in the climax, it kind of just sort of stops. You'll be able to see.
Gee, no wonder people compare her to Carrie. Heyo! But yes, we
gods,
have ourselves a name to run from. The running of the pigs! Wait a minute.
That's not how it works.
Well, I'm probably going to see a movie where one of these days, where a typical child antic like this actually gets someone killed, and that sets off the events of the movie.
Boy, he really took what that mysterious man said about that metal to heart. Like, yeah, now it shows that he can't get hurt, but Jesus.
That's more of a bore manolo, but that's the spirit that counts.
Hey, those are my watermelons.
My watermelons!
Ow.
Well, he's dead.
Let me see. The town governor. Carlos Alazraki.
Okay, while most would frame it as him being a hard ass, to his credit, she did kind of cause chaos, and assuming that boar was also released, yeah, could have gotten some people killed.
And she got one of her friend's guitars snapped. Running off crying, you got one of your friend's guitars snapped and endangers a bunch of people, you little brats.
Okay, to be fair, he just knows that Maria was the one who released the pigs. He doesn't know that Manolo and Joaquin were involved. But yes, Manolo here apparently comes from a family of bullfighters, essentially. As his father said, he has the gift.
Well, too much pressure on him.
Yeah, I was about to say, no pressure whatsoever, son.
Well, guys, it's not tradition without pressure from your long dead ancestors. You can't be both a bullfighter and a singer, son.
I will
You
not have a
trying-
bard in my family.
Are you trying to get your son killed?
Now, dweebs, there's nothing prouder than, of course, fighting a bull to the death.
Clearly.
Yes, there is. A lot of things. Well, putting that song in the movie, by default, this is the best Hitman movie. Is there a character who's bold and wears a suit in the movie?
Not really. This is a movie set in a specific time frame. It's never stated outright, but it's clearly the in-story that the tour guide and museum is telling is clearly set, way before modern times. Possibly the late 19th century.
Well, he's wearing a red tie, so screw it. He's 47.
Hitting the protagonist. So basically, she's being sent off to Spain, essentially, to be taught how to be a lady. But for you lucky viewers, it will be minutes.
Yeah, you know what that means. Time skip. Well, or a bit of a montage at the very least.
They're just messing around with the Infinity Stones there.
Parents got to stop projecting onto their kids.
But
When has that
surely,
ever turned out
traditions.
healthy?
Screw tradition.
Yeah, do you know? Yeah, that's like one of the scenes I remember most of Final Fantasy VII is when Yuffie's basically saying customs so stupid.
Anyway,
Like, traditions are an important part of community
that
and
kind
such.
of-
I get that, but like, your kid clearly doesn't care.
I was gonna say, well, that kind of custom anyway.
Anyway, Adult Manolo is now properly voiced by Diego Luna, which you might know for being Cassian Andor in Rogue One, and it's his own series now on Disney Plus from Star Wars. While instead, Adult Joaquin is voiced by Channing Tatum. What the hell is he doing here?
Okay, like, from what I can gauge, Gutierrez, again, seem to have relative control of the movie. So as far as I can tell, this was stuff he was okay with. Maybe some of these picks were mandated, but for the most part, it seems to be a cast that doesn't really compromise any visions. Now,
Oh, no, it's just that, I don't know, it just feels really random as a choice, having Channing Tatum as one of your main characters.
I know that he's on the rise nowadays, but was he big back
Yes,
then?
he was in the G.I. Joe movies, mostly. He had started in 2005. He was, for example, like a small cameo in Spielberg's War of the Worlds, making up, working his bones. He was in Step Up 2. Oof. Like I said, the G.I. Joe movies, the 21 and 22 Jump Street movies.
So
The Lego, it was Superman in Lego movies and so on.
So basically, Manolo is an expert bullfighter, but the problem is that he never kills the bull, essentially, which, yeah, that's apparently a dishonor to the name.
Oh, you probably the whole family, do you love your family manipulation spiel.
It's like basically their problem isn't even him fighting the bull. He fights the bull fine. Their problem is that he never kills the bulls that he fights.
The grandma, by the way, is voiced by Grey Griffin. She doesn't have a lot to speak in the movie, but it's mostly just, small bits of comedy.
What I do like is that, in spite of these two kind of being pitted against each other without them knowing, they're still good friends with each other per the time skip.
Yeah, he's a walking decoration.
Mm-hmm. You talk about it like he's your own son.
And here comes adult Maria, we actually got Zoe Saldana to voice her.
Boy, Zoe Saldana was really all over the place, wasn't she?
Well,
Pirates of the Caribbean, Guardians of the Galaxy.
James Cameron's Avatar, 5 years before this. So
this was probably a really good...
knowing what we know about Way of Water, she was still filming with James Cameron as, she was voicing for this movie.
Wait, she actually filmed scenes of Way of the Water as early as 2014?
Remember,
I thought that
Jova,
thing was at least taking a while to get started with the
Remember,
filming.
Jova, as we told you, James Cameron, decided to film as much as possible in terms of, things that he conceptualized as soon as he could. The result is that he filmed for an extra, a huge amount of years, and then cobbled together the final results. The only reason why it was taking him this long is because he was busy with other stuff like the Alita Battle Angel movie. But it took basically the Fox buyout from Disney for the executive to tell him, no, focus on this shit now.
So basically, his modus operandi was he fought up a scene and went, "Guys, I've come up with a scene. Come to my studio now." Every few years or so.
It's particularly important because remember, Wave of Water introduces a bunch of child characters, so he had to make sure to film as much as he could before they actually aged up. So a lot of scenes that by the time we're recording we haven't seen obviously yet, but a lot of scenes in Fire and Ash that would involve the child characters probably were filmed years ago.
Also, Manolo, boy thinks he's Mexican Spider-Man.
Also, this bull was reinforced with metal parts.
He literally spelled her name in the sand while dodging.
A very humble fellow.
I mean, that is part of it, the showboating. But now, you gotta kill the bull.
Again, this is another simplification of the corrida because it usually involves a lot more people, like the picadores, who actually have the job to literally exsanguinate the ball so that the toreador goes for the final kill. Again, it's really more gruesome than you may think.
Okay, I chalked this one kind of up to a bit of rule of cool.
Yes,
essentially,
again,
where
it's
they're implying that
oversimplification for the sake of, just telling how things are done in this universe without having to go through the extra mile. The old short, Disney short actually, not the Fox movie. The old short about I forgot the name of Ferdinand the Bull, did actually talk extensively about the role of each of the players in the corrida. Obviously without violence, because the entire point of the Ferdinand story is to reject that.
Oh,
Who are you, Shadow
Norman
the Hedgehog?
Osborn. I was gonna say Norman Osborn, but
Gee,
yeah, that works too.
No wonder you're such a prick not apologising.
You're no son of mine.
How dare you not kill an innocent creature? Oh, not even. So even the bull's
like, I should have died by your
Why
hand.
didn't you kill me?
It's like the bull's like, really, dude? You couldn't kill me? Chicken wuss.
However, La Muerte doesn't seem to be too phased by it.
Because keep in mind, one person cheered him sparing the bull, and that was Maria.
Also worth noting that the musical sequences in this movie tend to be more diegetic. Instead of a movie having to interrupt for a song and dance number, that serves as an explanation, it seems to be a bit more elegant in which the characters actually, are properly singing in universe instead of actually being just for the entertainment of a viewer. Which, to be fair, Coco also did basically that.
Like, it's always good when like a musical is actually part of the story. Like it progresses the story and such.
Or, we could have stuff like Quest for Camelot, where the movie has to stop constantly to have, weird animations all the time. Jesus.
Girl's barely back, and her father's already trying to pawn her off.
Well, remember, even as when they were children, the town government was super into, propping up Joaquin as the next, big defender of the place.
So yeah, I wonder if those medals are real or not.
No. To his credit, the medals are supposedly
Remember,
real. Like,
the
again,
gimmick
he's
is
come back a decorated hero.
Remember, the whole gimmick why he was a bit afraid is because the one that Zibalba gave him as a child told him to never reveal to anyone because there might be people wanting it.
Basically, as long as he has the medal on, he's invulnerable, basically. So as you can imagine, that makes heroics come a lot easier to him, essentially. The problem is if that medal ever comes off, essentially.
It's kind of like, it's not completely Jesus. It's not really similar to Achilles or Siegfried because they did had weak points. Instead of actually having to just remove a MacGuffin.
I'd say it's more similar to Samson and his hair.
Yeah.
Ooh, burn.
Mhm.
That Cheech Marin?
Let me check. Yes, one of the three.
Figures.
The three musicians are by Cheech Marin, Gabriel Iglesias. What? I knew this. I know this guy. And Ricardo and again another guy called Ricardo Sanchez.
So,
Yeah,
what's
I
your
mentioned-
familiarity with Iglesias?
He has been a actor and voice actor for a lot of stuff. If I recall correctly, he's the current voice for Speedy Gonzales.
Huh.
the drunk mariachi band. There's actually a little one of the opportunity missions you could do in one of the Hitman levels in the second trilogy game, where you disguise yourself as a mariachi band member after they all got drunk the night before, and one of them is not waking up.
What year was that? Because you will check out with the early
2018.
Well, okay, it not a bit late down that, but the early to late 2010 seem to love the idea of giving people, video game characters, no matter the background, at random a mariachi costume. Because Raiden had one to as a disguise to go to Mexico in Metal Gear Rising. Noctis has one in Final Fantasy 15 for reason that I still don't understand why.
Also, I don't think the other songs are his type.
Keep your music down. I'm trying to sleep here.
He's singing
No, no,
very
no.
quietly, and everyone else is
You're-
drunk at a party.
Yeah. Honestly, if anything, he's earned this.
I think there was one of the Eddie Murphy Nutty Professor movies that had something similar going on to what we've said. And yeah, the reason why La Muerte chose Manolo as her champion outside of, her severe gambling problems is also because of what was said in the narration in the beginning, that she has, incurable optimism for humanity, and, she had a good eye to spot that Manolo represents that. But instead, Zivalba couldn't care less.
See, Zubalba likes to mess around with humans a lot, but ironically, his flaw is that he never really notices their potential, essentially. Which leads him to think, oh, obviously someone who's the strongest should always come out on top.
Who turned off the light? Phoenix, what have we told you about?
It just makes me think,
There you
okay?
go. Ow, ow, ow.
Like, wow.
Oh god, this is the equivalent of proposing on the Jumbotron, Jesus Christ.
The
This
desperation.
is right after she told him to get stuffed.
But waves, the traditions!
Oh, we live for this drama.
This proposal is awful. Yes, you too.
Well, yeah.
Oh, hit him right in the
Ooh.
daddy issues.
This isn't Ace Attorney.
Is this how? This is plot twist. This is how one of the cases in the next game's gonna finish.
She's not going to date either of you.
Oh, yeah, we have more important matters at hand. Yeah.
A brave bunch we got over here.
I wonder what took Chakal so long to return, since the dad's been dead for years.
Ow.
Oh yeah.
He scored the scourge upon the land, I guess.
Probably. Chakal is voiced by Dan Navarro.
Well, the one that Chakal himself is not here. The one leading the force is one of his lieutenants, but I forgot his name.
I get Three Amigos vibes so much from these banditos.
I think that's Chato, which in case is voiced by Eugenio Derbez. Oh, goody! He was, if I recall correctly, no, actually, he was Mushu in Mulan 2. Or was it? Oh no, for the Spanish, Spanish dub, the Latin American. Okay, my bad. Oh, it was also an actual supporting character instead of being front of the dub of the 2011 Jack and Jill movie. Oh well.
Dude, focus. Your town's under attack.
No, don't worry, he's got this one handled.
Uh-oh. The problem is that the bandits seem to know that.
Yeah, they're playing this smart, basically.
Yeah, but he's got a god mode cheat on him.
Oh, that's somehow even worse.
Yeah, like, it's not the most apparent since Joaquin and Manolo seem to be on relatively good terms, but god, they go crazy when it comes to Maria. And sadly, Joaquin does not seem to be above using his heroic status to maybe edge things in his favor.
You're so toxic.
See, here's the reason why Chakal was not in attacking force. He's just a tad bigger.
Huh. What a shock! Xibalba was involved with a villain who terrorized the town and is now potentially
Although,
indirectly responsible for that villain's
according
return.
to the narration, Chakal did manage to steal it from Xibalba and then he got it back. We don't know the details on what exactly happened, and probably it's for the best to leave him there for, the suspense and everything, but it still begs the question of how did he pull it off?
It does seem to suggest that Xibalba really has a bad habit of underestimating humanity.
Yeah.
I view it like this. He doesn't aim to be a bad guy or even a jerk. The problem is he's just so head over heels for Maria that he's a little too willing to do just about anything to win her hand in marriage.
I mean, he has a little bit of jock mentality,
Yeah.
like at least the media portrayal of it.
Mm.
Okay, so now it's time for Xibalba to cheat.
Let's be honest, I'd say he was already stretching the rules, but yes, this is pretty much what's going to break the
I
camel's
think
back.
that was actually what was missing for Jafar's repertoire, to turn his stuff into an actual snake instead of himself.
Of course, the way to a woman's heart is with Elvis Presley.
I mean, it worked to an extent in Lilo and Stitch, question mark?
That said, this is actually a pretty good cover of that song. Like, honestly, all the music in this movie works.
Outside of the actual song, the composer is, let me check, Gustavo Santaolalla, which I'm guessing mostly specializes in Central American production. Argentinian, okay.
You know, again, I could totally see for the Kingdom Hearts design, we have that town up top, and then we have the Land of the Remembered as the bottom for it.
To be honest, Jover, in terms of that song, I mostly remember the UB40 version.
B40. That's not the one from the Disney Mania soundtrack, is it?
No, UB40 was a British reggae band.
You also have to remember, Jova, similar to what you said in the past, what we said in the past, that a lot of specific albums, music albums done for your country never arrived in Europe. But yeah, one single bite and the saturation turns into Zack Snyder levels. Jesus. And see, it's symbolic because it starts raining.
And of course, in the Maria pose.
La Pietà. It means the mercy.
It was a literal snake that came out of nowhere and she pushed me out of the way. What was I supposed to do?
To be fair, at the very least, while they're still blaming him, they're not pretending that he killed her. So at the very least, there is that.
Also, I'm not going to hear any of that from the person who never actually protected the town in the first place.
Mm-hmm. But in case you're wondering, don't worry, this doesn't really last that much. So at the very least, the movie knows how to keep things, short enough. Oh.
What kind of story is this we just hit?
I get the
I love
idea.
that line.
I get the idea. A lot of the lines from the kid with the purple hair were either improv or not super scripted, because we're gonna get another one soon enough that really feels like just a spur of the moment reaction.
Like they're
Oh.
actually telling this story to a group of kids and
I
like
was a bit. I gotta say that
they're
was a bit.
coding the reactions.
I gotta say that was a bit sudden. Just going with the whole. They're trying to impress Maria, and then bam! All of a sudden, she's dead.
The
Just
story
keep watching.
takes inspiration from Orpheus and Eurydice, classical Greek myth. Your Orpheus and Eurydice lives, and as a parallel to that, the sudden shift is a parallel to that too.
I was gonna say, is that the end of the movie?
No, we're just halfway through lives.
Death is not the end, but the beginning. He's actually happy to be dead because, hey, this means he can be with Maria. And yes,
In the land of the remembered.
That feels
Yeah.
codependent. Is that codependent?
and yes, the animation is absolutely stunning for the underworld.
Yes.
Sorry, land of the remembered.
In general, every single, time and media had to depict, I don't remember, outside of one specific occasion that I will say in a second, they usually did a good job in replicating the idea of the color, the style, the intricacies on, the details on the bones and stuff. Even for something like, for example, the Crash Bandicoot themed levels. But the only product that deliberately tried to do something different with it was Green Fandango. If you never played of that, it kinda tried to recontextualize this particular afterlife as a noir pop story. It's weird.
I mean, it's a better
Christ.
looking afterlife than the one Doctor Who provided.
Well, yeah.
This movie so lends itself to a potential Disney ride, too.
What about Kingdom
Oh,
Hearts
no.
world?
Yeah,
You go to this
go
world
away.
every time you get a game over.
To be fair, the entire point of one of the subplots, at the very least, of Kingdom Hearts 4 seems to be Donald and Goofy searching for Sora, since after the end of 3 they believe him dead. So that wouldn't be too out of place. Alright, I think now it's time to meet Manolo's ancestors one by one. Starting with this guy, which I think is voiced by Gutierrez himself. Ah, yes, the
People who like to live.
the famous Aztec bulls? Yeah, let's go with that. Then we have this guy, Jorge, which is voiced by professional opera singer Placido Domingo. What?
Quite the extravagant cast.
Arms and legs are for cowards. That's a new one.
And now we're dead.
Hooray.
Next.
Let me check this guy. Luis is voiced by Danny Trejo, because of course. Oh.
Why is everyone so happy to see this kid who's relatively young dead?
Yeah, and he was yelling at him earlier, saying, "Oh, you're a disgrace."
Well,
both of them.
to be fair, the one person that I think Manolo wanted to see more than Maria would be his mother, of course, which is voiced by Anna de la Reguera. Oh, more recently she was in the Pixar movie Elio. Oh wait, she was one of the characters in Army of the Dead and Army of Thieves. She was the one that shows up to recruit the German guy at the beginning.
Also, there you go, Shuri. It's his mother who finally goes, "Wait, we're here way too early.
Why are you dead?" He's in the doghouse, even in the afterlife. Well, when he gets
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, but I'm surprised his mother isn't like, "Wait, you look pretty young." "Oh no, my child died young."
She kind of did, yeah. Jova talked about it.
The cousins are voiced respectively by Angela Johnson and Sandra Ekiwa.
And yes, they apparently fought in the Mexican Revolution.
Why not?
Okay. I mean, gotta come eventually, I presume. Good to know you still have taste buds in the underworld.
Yeah, unfortunately, the land of the Remembered is under new management.
Yes, I was gonna say she had to lose a bet.
Damn her and her gambling addiction. Oh, he doesn't know.
But she's
Guy who doesn't know. Guy who doesn't know.
Yeah.
so that means you haven't won shit.
Basically, yes. One snake bite just
Stunned
knocked her out.
and with the
basically.
contact with the medal, it's enough to, revive her. Yeah,
Oh.
praise be.
Oh, that sucks.
Also, that two-headed snake. It's interesting looking back now at Maya and the Free. Well, technically,
He's
I'm
dead
already
already.
dead.
Ow. Now, obviously, this is where things, diverge a bit, quite a lot from the original myth, because if you don't know, the original Orpheus manages to convince Hades to give back the soul of his, of his beloved by singing a song that actually moves to tears the god of the dead. But the catch is that Orpheus has to go back from when he came on foot and never turn back with Eurydice actually following him. If he ever turns, she actually instead will remain trapped forever in the underworld. And as you can imagine, because it's a Greek myth, he turns at the last second before getting out of the cave, and she's trapped forever as a result. Tragedy!
You know, there's a similar story like that in the Bible, too. It was technically above ground, essentially, but basically, don't turn around and witness the destruction of a town.
Sodom and
Wife
Gomorrah,
looks back and turns to ash, yeah.
one of the wives of the protagonist of that.
Also, I do wonder if Joaquin feels a bit guilty knowing that Manolo's dead, seeing as how the last thing he said to Manolo was, yeah, it should have been you instead. To show he's not a complete monster. I love how they're not even that too bothered about the new management. They're like, dude, just chill, essentially. Like, I guess the idea is that, hey, maybe Xibalba's not too bad a guy as far as they're concerned.
I get the feeling that the kid with the purple hair would love Korean dramas.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah, okay. One thing to keep in mind in regards to mythology and regarding the Mexican afterlife, essentially, there are souls who are remembered, and then there are souls that are forgotten, essentially. Basically, the idea is as long as you're remembered, you can think of the afterlife as well a second life. However, if you're forgotten, that is like permadeath. Like, you are pretty much
Dust in the
wiped from
wind.
existence.
Which is a bit sad because, the march of time guarantees that this is gonna happen to everyone, theoretically. The idea that the culture had in mind is that, as long as the family line keeps remembering every single one of their ancestors, there shouldn't be nothing to worry about. But there's a lot of variables at play. So.
One thing that is a bit of a shame is
Well,
that for a good chunk of the movie, we don't take the whole family with us. I mean, they'll be back later, but yeah, for the most part, we just focus on these three, which is, I don't know, kind of a weird decision if you ask me.
It's
Like,
also
you
because
established.
we have the more high role important actors titled that. Don't get me wrong, yes, Placido Domingo is still high caliber on his own right, but they probably prefer to have Danny Trejo being on screen.
Yeah,
Also, what the hell is this pinball machine? Actually, no, it's more like a maze.
ball maze puzzle.
Sure.
Your afterlife, specifically.
Run for your death.
The best part about this is that in Elden Ring, there are enemies that are exactly like this, but without having to, have the excuse of the inclination. They're sentient spheres who, if you try to dodge them by going on the right, they will either stop dead in their tracks and then chase after you again, like it's a fucking Looney Tunes routine.
But yeah, he learned a thing from his grandfather, essentially, getting all three balls to clash into each other before they could take him out. It's Shadow of the Colossus, Mexican edition.
It's kind of is like Gaius.
My sword's broken.
That's because he passed the test. It's like, if you don't even want to have the other characters talk because you don't want to pay the actors too much, just have them not be around.
Okay,
Oh!
and for the candle maker, of all people, we have Ice Cube.
Oh, goody! It's the linchpin from the War of the Worlds remake.
I hate that so much. Like, don't get me wrong, even taking that aside, what a weird casting choice. Ice Cube as the neutral god in between the two extremes.
Okay, if I'm going to try and guess the mentality, maybe the idea is supposed to be that he's such an otherworldly presence that, of course, he's not your typical Mexican in this grand scheme of things. He's from the world over yonder.
Hey, that's the title of a movie again.
Mm.
And I'm also wondering, what was Ice Cube doing in the mid-2010s? Let me see.
Funny you mentioned that. He was Captain Dixon in 22 Jump Street.
Ah,
21 as well, I think.
okay.
So I guess maybe he was jumping over with Channing Tatum. He was also Detective James Payton in the Ride Along movies in 2014 and 2016. Let's see. Oh yeah, he was also in the Barbershop movies. After 2017, he took a break until 2020 for The High Note. Then 2023, he was Superfly in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And then finally, he was Will Radford in 2025's World of Worlds, which, yes, we
Keep in mind,
absolutely will.
Remember that movie was kind of developmentally was supposed to be released in 2020, if I recall correctly, so...
Basically, it was delayed and then filmed in 2020, and oh god, it shows. It shows in all the worst ways with that movie. That ain't good.
No.
Well, at least it's not the end of the world, just the end of your town. You'll have plenty of company down here with you then.
Well, that's the thing. If they are wiped out, they will, be forgotten. So
That is true. Hey, The Book of Life. That's the title of the movie.
again,
Well, that's the movie, everybody.
What a twist.
Well, apparently his life was so unremarkable, there's nothing in the book.
it's more like
Say this, though.
things change so much that everything could happen.
This too is
That's
Deltarune.
I will say this. When I first saw this movie, I did not connect the dots that this was Ice Cube because this guy sounds way animated. And I do mean like vocally sounds way more animated than I've ever heard Ice Cube to be. That's not to say Ice Cube can't act, but Ice Cube tends to go for, shall we say, more the cool persona. Like, I think, okay, aside from like the Are We There or Done Yet movies, I don't think he's ever had this comedic a role before.
Jova, you probably have not seen the first Anaconda movie in a long while.
No, I have not.
Don't worry, it's
fact-
bad.
In fact, I haven't seen it at all.
It's bad, and Ice Cube is bad in it.
Oh god, he was in that. And now they're making a remake about making a remake of it. No, seriously,
Gross.
apparently the new Anaconda movie is about guys trying to make a remake of Anaconda, but it ends up being in reality a remake of Anaconda.
Yeah, it's still a remake.
But yeah, no, like, this is proof that Ice Cube can act. So I ask, what the hell
Bad
kind of
direction.
tranquilizers did they pump him full of in World of Worlds? But yeah,
Did anyone want to be there for that movie?
Probably not.
like, okay, given that we know it was filmed during 2020, I can imagine moods were not the best then, but Jesus.
There you go.
Ha! He
Uh-oh.
cheated again?
Uh-oh.
I was will.
She's about to get angry.
They're getting divorced.
But you have no proof.
And the best part about it, Zibalba arrives with a bottle of wine and 2 chalices, deep balls on this guy.
He thought
Like,
she was calling him
You
for a
hear
sweet
that
time.
she's super angry, and his first thought is like, yeah, date, of course.
Also, there's the proof. They got that out of the way quickly.
Wow.
Also that.
He's a compulsive liar, I see.
And really bad at it. Also, like his face, like all the way, like his face and neck, he's giving Discord.
Yes. You know, okay, given that MLP was definitely big already as early as 2014, I would not be surprised if some inspiration was taken.
Like the movements as well, like it's really giving Discord.
Oh, they have special names for each other, okay.
That's just pillow talk.
No, don't this
Not
again.
war wages. That's how you got into this mess.
Honestly, the fact that she's not allowed to call the match null and void for revealing he's cheated is kind of showing up the messed up priorities.
Deities.
Yep. A bullfight.
Okay, Coach Carter kept asking that question a lot in that movie.
That's
Jesus Christ.
yeah, that's quite a lot.
But you have to fight them all at once, too.
And then
The
you
battle
have
of a
to-
thousand artless, I mean
Hey.
bulls.
When did my script get in here? Well, having seen a lot of old Doug Landale stuff, this does add up.
So he's dead.
Yeah, but isn't he got the medal on him?
No, that is
No.
Joaquin. This is instead Manuel's father.
Oh.
And there you go.
Yep, like right there, he's dead.
Just spawning instantly.
Yeah, that's kind of one thing that's a bit iffy about it for me in the movie. The movie kind of just glosses over the fact that his dad's dead. Like, there's like no reconciling with this later on. It's just
Well, I mean, he was a prick.
You can kind of tell that the last portion of the movie is a bit rushed. Because if you noticed, when the characters get to Land of Forgotten, immediately get inside the castle, immediate cut to death, to La Muerte, we don't know what had happened, in her arriving there.
notice she goes out of her way to say, "I'm doing it for the town."
That was actually a rookie mistake.
You didn't take the medal off that one and put it on.
I'm gonna say that those bulls are pretty pissed off at the Sanchez family.
I wonder why.
Oh shoot, she's dead now too.
Not Grandma too! Oh, okay, fair enough.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it happens.
We're on a strict time limit, but I went to get changed because I had time for that.
I mean, the fact that she got changed quicker than Joaquin did.
And of course, the priest is a luchador because we cannot, have, a movie about Mexican folklore without that.
They waited till this long.
That you saw recently Nacho Libre, but I haven't in a long while, so I don't remember actually how that is.
Good point. Like, seriously, she had enough time to get changed, get the whole town in the square, and give an inspirational speech before you got back. Uh-oh.
Bummer.
Yeah, that's the thing. He knew the secret to that. You know, the worst thing is that's probably the first time he's felt pain since being a kid.
Why did he shout his own name when he was yeeted through the sky?
Got to stay on brand.
It's like that scene in Cats where McCavity whiskers away one of the other cats. McCavity!
Well, the bull's backside is exposed. Now he can take it out.
Attack its weak point for massive damage.
Massive damage.
See, now we know this cannot actually be a word in Kingdom Hearts because they will have to actually cut away some of these stuff for the boss fights.
Okay, given the whole not wanting to kill the bull thing, they probably make it so that we defeat the bull, but then he still does this after the boss fight.
No, Jova. That's the thing. Making a story reason to why Sora can fight these things, like for example the bull or even Xibalba himself, because I believe there is potential. It's there, but we know what happened in stuff like Kingdom Hearts 3, where they completely cut away stuff like the Stabbington twins. So we know that if an adaptation of this word happens, some stuff will be excised or not fought.
Honestly, it's not really consistent. Like, at least with the Stabbington twins, I elicit that they probably do that just because they... Okay, they're weird. I don't know if it was the Disney mandate, but they tend to be off and on with whether or not we'll power up a Disney villain to be able to fight, or if we'll just have them die off screen, like the stepmother and the stepsisters. No, Disney, the darkness did not consume them. They got blown up, screams and everything. Burned alive.
But yeah, in this case, Manolo uses the power of song to actually placate the bull. Because I guess that's what we needed for an exorcism, a ballad.
Wait, hold on. An apology played on a guitar that actually works? Well, then again, at least it's not a ukulele, so he's got that going for him. That was such a Disney reference
Pretty
there.
much.
Yeah.
I don't feel so good.
Oh, God.
No.
He did indeed defeat him with the power of love.
Bullshit, I say.
Now the bull can rest. You didn't say how he had to defeat them, so...
Yeah, to be fair.
And now I'm literally dead because of that.
I mean, better late than never, I guess.
I was going to say, fine time apologizing now.
You know, he was still better than the chicken little fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like, I can at least believe that his father did truly love him. He just was kind of raised on a bad mentality of how to show it.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, you would think this is the moment where Xibalba acts like a petty child and tries to kill Malone himself, but no, he's actually respecting the rules.
I guess at this point, I have to wonder if maybe it's also like if he goes against it, whatever bind he's got.
We must respect the equilibrium or something.
But yeah, no, you're right. Even with that in mind, he's not a bad sport about it. And so he rose again from the dead with a
Rise from your
Shoryuken.
grave.
Like, no, seriously, he did that plus a Shoryuken. Holy cow.
And the silhouette kind of looked like a bull there with the stuff on his back.
He literally.
This is not the time.
It's like 1 moment. I thought he flipped him off at
I
this.
mean, to be fair, he did literally die for this, so might as well.
Fair.
Well, he's equal opportunity.
I'm a professional hater.
On your left. Yay!
Kind of a shame it's only the Sanchez family he brought, but they should be enough.
Yeah, you would think that Joaquin doesn't get to see his father in all of this. You would think he would take the occasion for having
I
that.
know. Yeah, like that was something that really surprised me that they didn't at least have his father come back, because he's clearly remembered still by someone.
Not to mention he was the one who defeated Chakal in the first place.
Yeah, it does lead me to believe that again. The last act does feel a bit rushed, like they didn't think some things through the best.
Okay, plus, I get it. We cannot have him in the movie without having to actually sing, but still.
So, with the power of singing, we will save the day.
Totally.
Prehensile mustache. How very nice.
Afterlife powers.
Yes. Oh no.
King Kong style.
He's so cringe.
Gotta stay on brand.
Oh no, we're doing the Advent Children thing again. Oh.
Yes! Although, at least here, it's somewhat better. Good upper body strength, Pop.
Oh. It's a bomb.
Never mind. I did get it mixed up. He's actually the voice of Spyro in the first game.
Huh.
Wait, who is?
Carlos Alazaki.
The guy who voiced the pig.
Yeah, he was also in Rocco's Modern Life as the main character. Among a bunch of others.
Literally knocked out a tooth and everything. Oh, that was such a Kingdom Hearts move now there.
I mean, we already had the scaling the building.
Sore loser.
I mean, those are just a bunch of small grenades. I don't know how much damage they can do to the entire town.
I feel like
I
you're just
think-
going to lose your limbs and nothing much else will happen.
I think he's close to some more of the explosives.
Remind me, Dweebs, because it's been a while, wasn't there a scene like that in Kong Skull Island when a guy tries to, blow himself up, but the monsters ignore him or something?
I don't really remember much of Kong Skull Island, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
Well, guess Manola's dead again.
God damn it.
Imagine that, dying twice on the same day.
Who are you, Wolf from Sekiro?
Let me guess, it turned out he has that badge.
The Franklin badge from Mother. There it is.
Yep. Joaquin slipped him the medal.
I'm Channing Tatum. I will always be all right.
One day, I will finally be Gambit, I swear.
God,
then
how long?
And then I'll be in Demon Slayer for some reason.
I'm curious, how long was it his dream to be Gambit?
Years, at the very least, around this time, the mid-2010s.
So he was definitely being meta when he made that about to make a name for myself speech.
Okay, here's the thing that I was going to mention. I get this, but I was wondering if at one point the not moral, but the end of the movie was going to be with Maria still not marrying neither of them, because the movie kind of had built up the idea of them being in conflict with each other and the proposal to her being artificially made through this. But I can explain more later, because apparently even these two decides to reconcile. Why not? It's a Day of the Dead miracle.
I have to say, Shibaba, you're very lucky, Muerta. Is that forgiving, given that you've apparently been pulling this whole cheating stuff?
I guess
for...
they have an eternity to wait to forgive each other, potentially.
And argue again.
Yeah,
Also,
like an
to
old
be
married
fair,
couple. Oh yeah, for another musical number, why not? I guess another thing that helps is that the musics, the songs actually, when they happen, seems to be more contained than the whole, fanfare with super color and flashing things going on that you expect in a Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love how they were so ready to get married that I guess the same day all this insanity happened, they figured, yeah, let's get married.
They already had all the stuff ready, so.
Why not?
And
hey,
weddings are expensive.
Anyone ever find it that Manolo was rejected for her guitar playing on an island shaped like a guitar?
Don't think about it.
They weren't very self-aware.
But wait,
Hey.
it's time for one more twist.
Hey, be more grateful. This is the most fun detention in the world.
Apparently,
Moving
modern
sired.
times, La Muerte decided to, and to an extent, Zivalba decided to be the curator of a museum, because why not?
What happened to the real curator?
Also, I think she just killed the purple hair kid.
You hear that? Now go make
Sure,
your
Ice
own
Cube.
movies.
Like, what
Yeah,
was
go on,
that?
Ice Cube. Make your own War of the story.
Basically, to elaborate what I was saying before, Jova, like, I felt that the movie was kind of built up to the idea that because of how the wager was built and the fact that the three, Manolo, Joaquin, and Maria, had managed to, be friends even before that, it will end with them still remaining, friends, but realizing that the whole having to propose and wanting to be the love was something that they never truly cared, was just, a childish thing that they had and was manipulated by someone else. At least that was kind of the vibe that I was getting, and Maria had demonstrated throughout the movie that she did not like to be treated as a prize to win. I know that I'm starting to sound like Shadow in Sonic 3, but hear me out. But at the same time, they were also building up to the fact that the entire reason why Manolo was doing all of this shit to return back to life, and expose Zibalba charade is because he genuinely still loved Maria, and at the end of the day, we still needed the hero gets the girl kind of ending. So I get why it movie ends like this, but I believe it was going through a different direction at one point.
Personally, I feel differently because for a good chunk of the movie, Maria definitely makes the goo goo eyes at Manolo and clearly does love him. Her problem is more so that he falls into the trappings of the toxic masculine cycle of earning the woman, essentially, or fighting for her exactly. It's like, I get the feeling that she did love Manolo. Her problem was more so him bowing to the toxicity. Hence why we see her smiling when, he does stuff against that, essentially. It's, well, I guess no longer similar to the case of Mario and Peach, since Nintendo have now said that they're just friends, but I definitely would wager that's what they were going for in Odyssey.
Anyway, final thoughts, Glibs.
Yeah, aside from a couple of little weird things and the whole movie kind of seeming a little bit a bit much of a hurry in the end, especially with the whole thing with the dad dying and it's like, oh no, my dad said, although to be fair, he was a prick. I enjoyed this movie. It's got a lot of fun music tracks and everything. And the animation is was very good. I mean,
It's
especially with
animation.
Yeah, but well, specifically animation that looks like it was done with toys, even though it was all CG.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit different, at least.
It's similar to what Puppeteer does for that video game.
Mm-hmm.
What about outside of the songs? What about the actual score?
It was okay. Nothing particularly memorable, but it fit the movie.
Have you actually seen, I guess, at least a few episodes of El Tigre as a reference to what Gutierrez tends to do?
No, I haven't.
Okay, just to know.
I'll highly recommend that show.
Alright, I guess that's it.
Yeah,
Alright,
that's
I'll go next, why not? No, this is still actually pretty great. I would say that I prefer this over Coco, but that would imply that I want to put deliberately the two movies in competition, and I believe it's a bit unfair because they operate, despite being on similar themes, they operate very differently. A bit similar to what Ants and A Bug's Life tend to do. Just because they have similar, appearances and thematics, they still treat things in a different way with different characters. But I still if I had to compare the two, I still prefer technically this one. This is actually more enjoyable. I really like the songs. Not to the point of fast forwarding or muting them. So it has to account for something. And it also has a variety of type of characters for you to be entertained. If you want to have a character that is villains for the most part, but mostly just, not misunderstood, but with the potential of turning heel or face. I forgot the wrestling terms. Switch sides basically. You have Xibalba, which despite the sadness it might be at the end, he still demonstrates that at the end of the day, he still can have a chance to appreciate humanity like La Muerte does. But if you want instead someone who is unrepenting, you have the Bandit King, Chakal, which might be a bit one note. Not super developed outside of the fact that off screen he managed to steal the medal the first time from Xibalba, but I don't know, I think it's fine also as the final boss. It gives way for a cool, interesting battle with the ancestors involved. The animation, I really like it. I only saw a few episodes of El Tigre. Back then, I was unfortunately stumbling more into Mucha Lucha, and in hindsight, I really should have just stuck instead with El Tigre, to be honest.
Really? I think both of those shows are good.
I don't have fond memories of the episode of Mucha Lucha that I watched, unfortunately. I still have to see my...
You may have gotten one of the gross out episodes.
Possible. I still have to see my end the free, but from what I heard, it's a solid, enough series that Gutierrez has done. I don't know what he's doing these days, but from understanding, he's basically taking a break from big projects, basically. Also, yes, if I recall correctly, Gutierrez actually managed to get the song Creep from Radiohead in this movie, which is wild, because even Del Toro himself told him that he himself tried to get it for Hellboy but couldn't, but instead Gutierrez approached the band and explained calmly why he wanted it to use for the movies, and the band was like, yeah, why not? So that's pretty cool.
There you go.
But I think that's pretty much it. The voice acting is pretty good, and again, judging it for a movie of mid-2010, they have managed also to score enough of good representations of Central America to, convey the idea that, Gutierrez had actually done a good enough job to make me believe he genuinely cares about the cultural heritage he's part of. He genuinely wants to share with the world this kind of stuff, and I really do respect that. And this is also part of that. No, really, this is just a good, fun movie to have, So that's pretty much it. Jova.
I'll go next, yeah. Love this movie. Absolutely adore this movie. Like Tio, okay. I did compare this to Coco back in the day, but it was never as a competitive thing. I always just thought, funny coincidence. Now knowing that there's a bit more to that, yeah, I would probably still give the edge to this movie over Coco. Both are great films. It's just Book of Life definitely has a lot more action. That's my speed. But speaking of Book of Life itself here, first off, I love the very unique art style, essentially, with puppets differentiated from the story with humans, and again, the deities who actually ironically seem more human constructed than the humans who are puppets and all that. Regardless, though, fantastic animation and everything, the story is actually very good. My only main issue with the story is, first off, and this consolidates a lot of it, the final third act, essentially, where it feels like suddenly we have to zoom and rush things. Like, again, our main protagonist never has to reconcile with the fact that his dad and grandma, who were like his last living relatives, are now dead. Like, it's okay, because the last we see is them partying in the overworld, but shoot, is he gonna have to contend with the fact that they're dead after this? Never addressed, essentially. And okay, I get it. The dad dying was a way for Joaquin to know. Sorry, the dad dying was a way for Manolo to know that stuff's going to crap out top, but I don't know. He already knew Chakal was coming. I don't know if we really needed to kill his dad for that. But aside from that, small potatoes. There's definitely some room to address this in a sequel. Hopefully, eventually before I grow old, since this movie is now over 10 years old, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
The music! All pretty good bops, from the original stuff to the covers, essentially. And I'm proud to say that I feel like the cast listing here is good. Like, yeah, there are some obvious celebrity picks, but it never feels like they didn't earn their position. Like, here it actually feels like everyone acts to the best of their abilities for their particular roles and does it expertly. And, yeah. It's a movie that I can't recommend enough, essentially. The action is phenomenally animated and top-notch. And again, while the third act is a bit rushed, the story overall is pretty good and not always going the way you think it might go, but keeping itself restrained enough that you can still enjoy it overall, essentially, here and there. So yeah, Book of Life is, in my book, a certified classic. Shiroi, give us your final thoughts.
It's still a great movie, even after all these years. I haven't seen Coco, so can't say anything about that. But yeah, for this movie, music's great, acting's great, and I do agree with Jova. Like, you can't tell when a celebrity casting is there, because I mean, it's not that certain celebrities can't act. It's just like you can tell it's like them sort of thing. But no, this is pretty good. Movie looks great. The middle does feel a bit rushed, like after going to the underworld. I don't know. I feel like they could have made this movie roughly 2 hours, maybe not quite, but I feel like there was enough they could have done to do that, because this was an hour and a half is fairly standard, so they could have pushed it a little bit, I think. Still a good movie, though. Very much enjoyed watching it now. So, yeah, that's it.
Alright,
And that
so
brings our Halloween commentaries finally to a close. What a
happy
journey it's
festivities,
been.
I guess.
Happy festivities indeed.
Happy Christmas.
Stay spooky, and future me, don't get drunk like last year with Joker Folia do, please.
We'll
See
see you
ya.
then.
See ya.